Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and today I wanted to talk about the future of commodity trading versus the future of cargo trading and how those are differentiated, which we got a little bit of confirmation from a very short blurb from CIG, so I'm going to kind of extrapolate a little bit. But I'm glad to see this because this was the direction that I've been saying that things needed to go. But this confirmation came from Gozer with CIG on Spectrum, who is really outlining the changes. The idea here is that cargo and commodity hauling are fundamentally different loops. And while commodities are inherently cargo items, there are nuances between the two, kind of like all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. So first off, Gozer goes on to confirm that cargo hauling is the act of taking a mission to take cargo from point A to point B. You are not actually buying the cargo, which makes this essentially an upsized box mission. But instead of going to an outpost to pick up a handful of small boxes, this would be done at a much larger scale, likely from space stations or larger outposts. In these missions, you are not buying the cargo. It is being provided to you in order for you to be able to move it from one location to another. And what you are being paid for is to cover the cost of gas, the danger that you incur from moving the items, and paying you for your time. As the risk here with no financial investment on your part is much lower than it would be in commodities trading, the payout and return on your investment will be lower. They've also stated that the loading of ships will be done via NPCs as kind of a service that's a part of this job, and whether that's something that you'll see, such as drones or NPCs wheeling cargo onto your ship, or if it's just automagically done, they call this out as a differentiator of you not needing to manage the loading of your ship. I think that actually just means that you're not responsible for the cost of loading, and you will have NPCs that are helping you, but you will still have to wait for it to be done. Now, on the flip side of this, we have commodity trading, which is basically cargo in the game today. You're investing your money to buy commodities, hopefully at a low price, flying somewhere else, and then selling it off for a profit somewhere else. Now, this is where the journal posts about pricing come in handy, and leveraging places like the TDD to be able to catch up on current pricing is going to be valuable in the future. Commodity trading requires your own personal investment, and thus is very high risk, because if you are killed, the game crashes, or you're pirated, or in my case, a kid wakes up in the middle of the night and I have to just set off on a straight course into nowhere and hope to God I don't run into some pirate that just spawns in front of me. You could be out a lot of money and the time that you've invested. Thus, the payouts are higher for this line of work. You also may need to be able to pay escorts to help keep you safe. So in addition to your time and money and gas, there can be other expenses taken into the fold, including the cost of loading and unloading services. Or it'll be something that you have to handle on your own, which is going to take time, and time is money. Commodities trading is a supported gameplay loop and hopefully will be very profitable, more so than it is right now, but it's really making gameplay in the sandbox by deciding what to buy and where to sell in order to maximize your profits. Cargo hauling, on the other hand, is a little bit more structured gameplay. It's missions that you take on by accepting them and following the instructions. The post stated that the risk is low on cargo missions because you'll be moving things that the pirates just don't care about. But I kind of think that might be really overgeneralized or short-sighted. Enough of any product is worth something. So unless there's something inherently worthless about these products, or something like the fact that they're considered stolen and are registered so you can't sell them, then I don't really think this is risk-free by any means. I also wonder how people would know the type of hauling that you're doing until they scan and disable you. And if we know anything about pirates and some of the interviews that we've had in the past, at that point, they've invested their time and energy, and they're probably taking whatever they can get. Even if that means they have to sell somewhere specific like Grimhex or Pyro, because money is money and they spent time, so they want that return on investment, and a lot of them just like that gameplay. Now, another recent post started talking about ship disablement and the likelihood of the ship being destroyed. So if you get killed in combat, your ship does, the ship should remain intact. And if the ship is still intact, then the cargo is going to be there about 70% of the time. So regardless of how valuable, the presence of those goods being there doesn't mean you're risk-free by any means. Now, these cargo missions are what I personally think are going to be game-changing in a really good way for the hauling profession. Think about ships like the Raft or some of the Hull series. The ships that can go out and just grab one of those big 32 SCU crates and really just speed up that load and unload time. You're talking about unloading 3 big containers on the Raft as opposed to, 96 individual containers. And I think that's going to allow you to go from truck stop to truck stop, dropping off cargo in a dependable and controlled manner. And it's something that a lot of people are looking for. You're probably not going to make big money doing this, but it might be relaxing and entertaining gameplay. I also think that they're talking current state. But delivery missions will still need to have varying distances. So once we have multiple systems, or even a bigger system like Pyro, who's to say that a cargo mission of great distance couldn't net you a lot of money? And then there's scaling involved beyond that, because you have to work up to a whole D and a whole E, and the profitability has to make sense so you can operate a ship of that scale. I think the way that we're going to be looking at this is that commodities will have kind of that big boom and big bust potential depending on how well you buy and sell, while cargo is going to be that much more stable income involving less risk all around. These differentiators are expected and frankly needed, especially to support the larger ships, so you aren't totally breaking the economy. For example, a whole E, you can't really buy enough commodities in a realistic amount of time, because if that could happen, that would inherently mean that the supply is so high that the demand is going to be so low, meaning that people with smaller ships wouldn't be able to make much money doing these trades. There has to be a way to be able to support this all, and the cargo missions are probably the way that that's going to happen. We're expecting to see these things start getting implemented following 3.18, but it probably could be easy enough to put into delivery missions sooner than that, or at least I would think. Either way, this is going to be a huge change that will open up more hauling gameplay and will start to show the difference in ships of different sizes and the opportunities available using those. So that's the plan and the update for what's coming in the hauling world, and it's something I'm personally pretty excited for. So if you have any questions on this, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, stay tuned for a lot more coming soon. Have a wonderful day and take care.